Thursday, April 19th. And here's some top news in Canada today. So the GoFundMe for victims of the horrific Humboldt Broncos team bus crash closed overnight with more than $15 million raised. Plus, Canadian retirement homes are harnessing new technologies to help seniors. All the donations will be transferred from the Humboldt Broncos team bus crash to a newly created memorial fund to help victims of the tragic bus crash in Saskatchewan. John Pitcher's mother is struggling to come to terms with losing her son, but she says she is finding comfort in the fact that he is now at peace. Peter was born with, probably not going to say this right, but epidermolysis bullosa, a painful disorder that causes skin to constantly tear and blister. He died early at the age of 17. Very sad. And there's also a family who spent 18 hours in a Mexican airport on Monday waiting for their Sunwing flight to Toronto, only to learn that they had to wait, unfortunately, another day before arriving home. And Canada's remotest destinations are coming to closer view thanks to Parks Canada and Google Street View's collaborative effort to map the country using three-dimensional images. And some virtual help. Canadian retirement homes have begun letting residents go for trips down memory lane without ever leaving their home, thanks to the help of virtual reality. In other news, we have 420 coming up for all you pot smokers tomorrow. In Calgary, we have the 420 Music and Arts Festival. In Edmonton, the Legislative Assembly of Alberta. Let's see what else we have. At Vancouver, the 24th. Vancouver, it's 420. We have stuff happening. Let's see. What else? Well, I think that's it for more. There's obviously, going on 420 in Ottawa, Parliament Hill. There's a led by 14-year-old Emma Boniface. And let's see. So, the story about her is that at age 11, Emma Boniface watched her mother lose herself in a grasp of opioid addiction. Diagnosed with a debilitating spinal condition in 2013, Genevieve Gendron was prescribed fentanyl and oxycodone to deal with chronic pain, and soon began to experience the side effects of opioid use. Before long, she lost more than half her teeth, her mobility, and her job. In 2015, her daughter recalls, Gendron began using medical marijuana, and everything changed. She was much happier than Boniface, who, at the tender age of 14, is scheduled to take stage Friday at Ottawa's annual 420 rally on Parliament Hill to speak about the power of pot. She was awake more often, she was talking with us, she was able to walk. She was able to do stuff a lot more than before. We had our mom back. Marijuana enthusiasts have long been circling April 20 on their calendars as the annual day to celebrate cannabis and the culture surrounding it. In the national capital, they gather by the thousands in the shadow of the center block, defying the authorities amid thick billows of pot smoke. But it's 2018 and things are a little different this year. The federal government's Cannabis Act, a central component of the Liberal Party's successful election campaign 3 years ago, is working its way through Parliament and is expected to make recreational use of marijuana legal later this summer. Even so, 420 festivities this year will be much of an act of protest, as celebration organizers say. The political debate about legal pot began in 2015. Has used young people as a political football in order to focus the potential perils of marijuana rather than its virtues. Co-organizer Sean McAleese suggested during a news conference earlier this week. Making it harder for young people to access and use marijuana has been a central theme of the federal government's plan. Instead of the black market, legal cannabis will be available on a strictly regulated basis. with the rules being established by the province and territories, from how it's produced to how it's advertised and sold to the minimum age for purpose. That's why the 14-year-old Boniface was chosen as keynote speaker, the youngest ever for a 420 event in Ottawa, McCallies said. The idea was intended to put a focal point on the younger generation, especially teenagers and young dispensary employees. The government's message on keeping pot out of young hands has led what McCallies called the corporate commandeering of what was once an easygoing cannabis culture. Have any of us heard teens' opinions over these issues in the past 2 years, he said. Boniface, for her part, said she plans to talk about her mother's experiences using medical cannabis as well as the importance of giving teenagers a voice in the debate about legalization. She says, I want to be the voice for cannabis and show the government that we want our own word in what's going on. If it's going to affect us, then we want to have our own input in this argument. Patients' Lives Matter, a group that advocates for medical marijuana users, is expecting to see one of the largest crowds in recent memory on Parliament Hill on Friday. Other speakers will include Toronto comic Martha Shaves, I believe I'm not sure, and local dispensary employees, some of whom have been arrested on the job. Boniface's speech will be timed to end just before the clock on the Peace Tower registers 4:20. In other news, Second Cup plans to convert some coffee shops into pot shops, or pot dispensaries, rather. I've heard this. I thought I heard it was Starbucks, but I guess it's actually Second Cup. And Second Cup says it's signed a strategic alliance with marijuana clinic operator National Access Cannabis to develop and operate a network of recreational pot stores. Let's see here. The company says that the NAC branded stores will initially be located across Western Canada, expanding to include additional provinces where legally permissible. The NAC will apply for licenses to dispense cannabis products and, upon receipt, work with Second Cup to applicable franchises to construct retail stores carrying cannabis products. Conversion of any Second Cup cafes to dispensaries will be conditional on obtaining a retail license from provincial regulators as well as the approval of applicable franchisee landlord. As well, the NAC has issued Second Cup warrants to purchase an aggregate of 5 million common shares of the company at an exercise price of 91 cents per common share that expires in April 2023. And that's all the news I have for you today. It's good seeing you guys again. Have a great day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.